Om Swastiastu. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam namo buddhaya, salam harmoni. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are from Group 5, and now we will do the presentation about morphology. But before we do that, we will introduce ourselves. My name is Gusti Dita Purna Arianti, and my friends.
My name is Pradnya Suari.
My name is Annisa Dextraliani Pertiwi.
And my name is Putu Aditya Maesa Putra.
So, these are the topics of discussion today. They are what is morphology, what is inside morphology, morphology example, and conclusion. And the first topic will be explained by Maesa.
Okay, thank you, Dita. Now, what is morphology? Morphology, the word morph in Greek means structure, shape, or form, and the word logy means science or study. Now, in linguistics, the term morphology refers to the study of word formation. In morphology, there is morphemes, which is the smallest indivisible units of semantic content or grammatical function, which words are made up of, according to Katamba in 1993. Now, the term of morphology did not appear as a branch of linguistics until the 19th century. It is coined by German linguist August Leicher in 1859 for the aim of creating new words or classification of words. Next slide. Now, as I said before, according to Katamba in 1993, morphemes is the smallest indivisible units of semantic content or grammatical function, which words are made up of. Now, for examples here, the word books is composed of book plus s. In this example, book is a noun and s is a suffix for plurality. Both book and s cannot be broken down any further, and both of them carry their own meaning. So book and s are morphemes. Next slide. Now, a morpheme cannot be divided into small parts. In addition, a morpheme carries meaning and grammatical information such as plurality and tense marker. Now, morphemes are classified into two, which are free morpheme, which is a morpheme that can stand alone, and bound morpheme is a morpheme that cannot stand alone. With further explanation of these two morphemes as following. Next slide. Now, the first is free morphemes. Free morphemes, which consist of content words and functional words. Content words are lexical morphemes that have a semantic content. That is, they have a particular meaning on its own. For example, such as stage, tree, deliver, etc. And they all have particular meaning on its own. Now they are usually open class words because new content words can be easily included to the language. In content words, for example, like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are content words. Why are they content words? Because they all refer to semantic concepts. And here, on the other hand, function words or grammar words are lexical morphemes that have a grammatical relation rather than refer to semantic concept. Now, while content words carry most of the semantic meaning, function words have a structural function. Function words primarily, though not exclusively, indicate grammatical relations. Now here, for examples, in the article the and pronounce I, you, they, we, them, your, hers, etc. In conjunction, example like but, if, yet, and in preposition such as in, at, on, of, and to are instances of function words. Next slide. Now here are examples of content words and functional words.
Content words have specific meanings. They include nouns, naming words, verbs, doing words, adjectives, which describe a noun, and adverbs, which describe a verb. Content words have at least 3 letters, which is why in, a function word, I went in the pool, has only one N, but in, the name of a place, has double N. Or B, I want to be happy, has one E, but B, the name of an insect, has double E. It also explains why egg has double G, even though words don't normally end with a double G, and add has double D, even though words don't usually end with double D. One-syllable words ending in I are usually spelt with a Y, like fly, cry, and spy. When content words only have one consonant, use IE instead of Y so that there are 3 letters, like die and pie, or add an E, like in the colour dye. But if it's a function word, you can just use Y, like in buy and my.
And that is the video that further explain and include examples of content words and functional words. And the next material will be continued by my friend.
Okay, bound morphemes is the morphemes that can stand by itself. There are 2 types of bound morphemes, based on position and based on function. There are 2 types on bound morphemes based on position. They are prefixes and suffixes. While in bound morphemes based on function, they are derivational and inflectional. Next slide. First, prefixes. Prefixes is affixes in front position. Affixes is a letter or letters added to a root word to change its meaning, such as ri, this, il, im, di, non, and etc. For example, rewatch, disappear, nonsense, and etc. In word rewatch, watch is a root word, while re is a prefix. So when the letters re added to word watch, the meaning of the word will change. And the second is suffixes. Suffixes is affixes in the back position, such as ism, t, shin, ness, and etc. For example, Hinduism, decoration, or happiness. In word decoration, decorate is a root word, while shin is a suffixes. When the shin added to word decorate, the meaning will change. Okay. Next slide. Here is a video to show you examples and further explanation of prefixes and suffixes.
Now, prefixes attached to the beginning of words here. So we have unkind and deactivate. So what we do when we draw trees is we just put the prefix out front and we separate it from the morpheme. So we just separate all of our morphemes here. So again, un and kind are 2 different morphemes. Un is an affix, so we write AF. Kind is an adjective, and we link them up. So un and kind makes unkind, and that is also an adjective. Okay, what about deactivate? Well, we have de, and we have activate. De is an affix, activate is a verb, and deactivate together is also a verb. So we take our prefix, combine it with our free morpheme, and it becomes a new word. All right, suffixes. Suffixes come on the end of words. And we do this the same way. We have vividly and clueless. So vivid is it is an adjective. Can describe something as being vivid. ly is just an affix. And we can combine them to make vividly. Now, of course, what type of word is vividly? He vividly described the outcome. So this is actually an adverb. So we can see here that this affix actually changed the word type of vivid. It changed its category. That's kind of interesting. Okay, what about clueless? Well, clue is a noun, and less is just an affix. When we combine it together, we get clueless, which is an adjective. So again, this affix changed the lexical category of one of our free morphemes.
Okay, after knew the prefixes and affixes, we gonna next to the bound morphemes based on their functions. Based on their functions, bound morphemes can do one of two things. Number one, they can change the grammatical category of the root words or derivational affixes. Number two, they can only change its forms or inflectional affixes. So, bound morphemes based on their functions. Number one, derivational affixes. What is derivational affixes? Affixes that can change the parts of speech of the word that they attach to. For example, happy is adjective, happiness adverb. And number two is poor. Poor is adjective. We add ly, it becomes poorly, it's adverb. So based on their functions, number two is inflection. It's inflectional affixes. What is inflectional affixes? Affixes that cannot change the parts of speech of their words that they attach to. For example, books. Books is noun. We add s, so it becomes books. It's noun. The next one is tall. Tall is adjective. We add er, so it becomes taller. Adjective. So the er is comparative word. And further explanations of derivational and inflectional affixes.
Derivational morphemes. A derivational morpheme will change the category of a word, or it will alter the meaning of a word. So for instance, we have sing-er. This here is an affix. So it attaches to a stem. So we have this af, and sing is a verb. So sing and come together to form singer, and the result is a noun. So this sing, this v, becomes an n. This verb becomes a noun, and that is what this er suffix does. Okay, let's take a look at poisonous. Poison is a noun. This us affix is something that attaches to poison. So in the end we get poisonous, and what is that? That is an adjective. So this us suffix takes a noun and changes it to an adjective. And you might be thinking, hold on a second, what about the verb to poison? So let's think about that. To poison, what if it's a verb that takes, this us attaches to a verb and makes it an adjective? Well, let's think of another word. Let's think of the word adventure. Adventurous. So we can add us to it to make adventurous. And adventure is a noun. So this us probably attaches to nouns. I know you may say, what about to adventure? Does anyone say to adventure? I will go to adventure. No, we say I will go on an adventure. So this is definitely not a verb. This attaches to nouns. So it's very important to make that distinction and test other words when you can't figure out, hey, is this a noun base? Is it a verb base? So Definitely try other words to see what attaches. Of course, when you're looking at other languages, you have no idea. So hopefully your examiner will give you a hint. Second, inflectional morphemes. So these reflect grammatical agreement or features of a language. So, for instance, reads. Read is a verb. S is an affix. And together, this forms the verb reads. Now, what is this S actually? This is the third person singular. So, reads. He reads. I read. He reads. So this S is a grammatical agreement. So this does grammatical agreement with third person singular. What about greater? Well, it's great. So it's what do we want to say? It's an adjective. And this is an affix, and together it makes greater, which is also an adjective, but we call this one the comparative ER. So this compares two things. So great becomes greater. And it's a grammatical function. It is not a meaning function. So that is very important to make the distinction there. In my first video, I made a little bit of an error, so hopefully this one will be a little bit more clear. So greater, these are grammatical suffixes.
The next material will be explained by Dita.
Okay, thanks for the chance that you give it to me, Pradnya. I will continue the presentation with example of morphology. There are 3 examples here. The first one is unhappiness. Unhappiness are made by words un, happy, and ness. The free morpheme or content word is happy, which is an adjective. And we add un as a prefix, so the word become unhappy, which is still adjective. So prefix un is inflectional morpheme because it cannot change the part of speech of the content word. Next, we add ness, which is suffix, so the word become unhappiness, which is noun. The suffix ness is derivational morphemes because it changed the part of speech of the content word. Number 2 is motivation. Motivation are made by word motive, aid, and ion. The free morpheme or content word is motive, which is a noun. And we add affix aid, so the word becoming motivate, which is a verb. So by adding affix aid, the part of speech of content word is changed from noun to verb. And we can call affix aid is derivational morpheme. Next, we add ion, which is suffix, so the word become motivation, which is noun. The suffix ion is derivational morphemes because it changed the part of speech of content word from verb to noun. And the last one is decorate. Decorate are made by words decor and aid. The free morpheme or content word is deco, which is a noun, and we add the suffix aid, so the word become decorate. And aid is a derivational affixes because it changed the part of speech of content word from noun to verb. And the next one is conclusion. In conclusion, morphology in linguistics refers to the study of word formation. In morphology, there is morphemes. It is classified into free morphemes and bound morphemes. Free morphemes are morphemes that occur alone and carry meaning as words. Free morphemes are also called unbound or freestanding morphemes. Free morpheme consists of content words and functional words. And bound morphemes are morphemes that cannot stand alone with meaning. Bound morphemes must occur with other morphemes to create a complete word. Bound morphemes consist of affixes. affixes divided into two parts. They are based on position and based on function. Based on their position, affixes can be classified into prefix and suffix, where prefix is affixes in the front position and suffix is affixes in the back position. Based on function, affixes can be classified into derivational and inflectional affixes. Derivational affixes are affixes that can change the part of speech of the word that they attach to. And inflectional affixes are affixes that cannot change the part of speech of the word that they attach to. So these are the references we use for today's presentation. And these are the link of video on our presentation. That's all we can say. We are sorry if there are many mistakes or behavior that unplease your heart. Thank you for your kind attention. Goodbye.